Hey there storytellers, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, as you can see from the title down below, is going to be my December wrap-up. So without any further ado, let's get to talking about the books that I finished in December of 2020. The first book I finished was Daughter of the Burning City by Amanda Foody. This novel follows a girl named Serena who works in the traveling city of Gomorrah, running a freak show where she creates illusions that dazzle and amaze people, some of which are as real as you and me. However, at the start of the novel, one of her illusions gets killed, and Serena has no idea how this is possible as they are not technically real, so she doesn't know what's going on, and she begins a journey trying to figure out who is killing her illusions and why. Along the way, she meets a boy named Luca who seems a little too good to be true at moments. There are times when she trusts him and times when she doesn't, but you come to find out that there are even more people whom she should be questioning than even Serena realizes. I gave this novel a 5 out of 5 stars. It was a really fun read. I think if you're a fan of The Night Circus or Where Dreams Descend, even though I haven't read that one yet, then you will enjoy this novel as well. It's a really well-crafted story. The magic system is really interesting, especially regarding Serena and her illusions. She's sort of outside the norm even within her own world of magic because there aren't really illusion makers anymore, so no one really understands how her powers work. But the novel poses a really interesting question of, even if something isn't real, the fact that it sort of lives and breathes and causes you to feel emotions within your life, does that make it real, or is it still something that is just an illusion? It's a really fun question, and I really love the way Amanda Foody executed the novel and the conclusion to the novel. I thought everything was wrapped up really nicely, and I didn't really have any questions. I didn't feel like it needed more, which is rare because stories that can be kind of complicated, you often want more to be wrapped up or a sequel or something like that, but I thought this wrapped up really nicely and I'm a big fan. The next book I read in December was What Light by J. Asher. This one is a contemporary holiday romance that follows a girl named Sierra whose family owns a Christmas tree farm in Oregon, and every year around Thanksgiving they travel down to California to sell their trees on a Christmas tree lot. Sierra is staunchly opposed to starting a holiday romance, especially when it's going to end so soon, but lo and behold, she meets a boy named Caleb who has a reputation that follows him around, and judgmental Sierra actually takes a step back and learns to get to know him for who he really is and not for the rumors that surround him. I like this book a lot. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was just a fun contemporary holiday book. It wasn't anything riveting or earth-shattering, but I liked the characters and I thought the execution of their sort of wintry romance was really well done. It was a little bit insta-lovey, or rather instant attraction-y, so if that bothers you, just be wary of it. But I do feel like the characters took the time to have deep, meaningful conversations whereupon they could build their relationship, so it wasn't too insta-lovey, if that makes sense. But yeah, it was a solid holiday read. Next, I listened to A Christmas Dream by Louisa May Alcott. This is a collection of 2 holiday stories. One follows the story of this horse, which I didn't particularly care for. Even though it's a kid's novel, that wasn't something that I would have knocked it or praised it for one way or the other, but I just didn't like the horse story. It was a little bit weird to me. And the other one follows this girl, sort of in an Ebenezer Scrooge kind of way, where she is bored of Christmas as it is. She's a wealthy girl. She gets what she wants. She's not surprised by the Christmas season anymore, but she has this dream wherein she does really charitable things for kids that can't have a great Christmas, and her mom makes that sort of happen. So she gets a renewed sense of Christmas spirit through helping others have a wonderful holiday, and that part I really liked a little bit more. That story was way more my speed for Christmas spirit. So I ended up giving this book a 3 out of 5 stars, which I thought was pretty solid. Next, I read A Christmas Story by Jean Shepherd. As I mentioned in my reading vlog, this is a collection of specific memoir type essays that he wrote for different collections that he did, but they're the 4 or 5 that they pulled specifically to make the film A Christmas Story, which is my favorite holiday movie, so I went into this totally biased. I knew I was going to enjoy it, and I did end up giving it a 5 out of 5 stars. If you want to hear me talk about it a little bit more in depth, I suggest clicking on my reading vlog because I did share my thoughts a little bit more. But yeah, that's all you need to know is they're sort of fictionalized memoirs of his put to work in a sort of capsule Christmas collection that they used to make the movie, and it was a good read. I then followed up my reading schedule with A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I feel like I don't need to talk about this book too much because most people have read it before me. This is the first time I ever have though, and I can see exactly why it's a Christmas classic. I gave it a 5 out of 5. It's a great little story about a man learning to embrace the Christmas spirit rather than shun it, and I thought it was well executed. This is coming from somebody who had some qualms with Dickens in high school. I only read parts of A Tale of Two Cities for class. That was all we were supposed to read. I wasn't neglecting it. But I also read Great Expectations, and I didn't love some of the parts where he droned on about descriptive things. As a general plot, the story was kind of interesting, but I definitely had issues with how long he went on. So this smaller novel where he sort of stuck to the focus of the plot and the characters' emotions a little bit more was definitely something that appealed to me. So this was a great holiday read. Next, I listened to The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus by L. Frank Baum. If you don't know who L. Frank Baum is, he is the author of The Wizard of Oz, so you might be more familiar with that work. But this was just a cute little kid's novel that focused on sort of Santa Claus's origins, how he was born, how he was raised, and how he became the Santa Claus we know and love today. It was a cute read. I gave it a 3 out of 5, I believe. It wasn't anything sort of mind-blowing, but it was definitely a cute little holiday story, and it just helped put me in the mood. And the last one I have finished as of filming this video was Snowed In by Rachel Hawthorne. This was another contemporary holiday romance. It follows a girl named Ashley who moves to a small town on an island in the middle of one of the Great Lakes with her mom after her parents divorce and her dad's about to get remarried. So they move, and Ashley's never been anywhere other than Texas, so the small town life, the snow town life, and the lack of boys is something that's a little bit new to her. It was an okay story. It wasn't my absolute favorite execution of a romance. There was a little bit of will they, won't they, but it got a little bit frustrating, and I just didn't connect with any of the characters too much. I didn't feel like I got the emotional investment that I usually look for in romance type stories, especially because they're not usually my shtick to begin with. So this one just fell a little flat for me. It wasn't a bad read or anything. It was just very, very quick. I think the audiobook only took me like maybe an hour and a half to listen to. It was not a long story at all, so I just felt like there was room for a little bit more character and plot development. Nothing was particularly surprising in the way that the story played out, so it was just okay for me. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It was a solid 3 out of 5. So I do have 3 more books, none of which I have finished yet. Well, one technically I've finished before, but I'm giving it a reread. So I'm hoping to get to these by the end of December, but since I wanted to get this video up for Vlogmas, they have not been finished. They're just sort of hopes at the moment. And so I hope to finish Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. Like I said, I am rereading this one, so I'm not in a huge rush. I've read it before, so this one I'll get around to finishing whenever I get around to finishing. But there are 2 Christmas-themed reads that I do hope to get to in the next few days, and the first one is The Afterlife of Holly Chase by Cynthia Hand. This follows a girl named Holly who is part of the Scrooge program, wherein someone in the afterlife who was not so great in real life has to sort of play one of the Christmas ghosts and steer a current Scrooge off the path of being part of the Scrooge program in the afterlife. It's sort of a look at the warning that Ebenezer Scrooge gets, where if he doesn't change his ways, he's doomed to repeat his mistakes and help make sure other people don't in his afterlife. And it's sort of a play on that, but in a more modern contemporary setting. So I'm hoping to get to this one very soon. And the other one I'm hoping to get to is Christmas Shopaholic by Sophie Kinsella. This is just part of the Shopaholic series. I think it's one of the newer installments. I haven't read the others, but I feel like it's okay. It's not a fantasy, so I don't feel like any of the plot points that get mentioned are going to be really confusing if I haven't read the other ones, but it's a Christmas look at Rebecca Bloomwood, and I do think she's a fun character to read, so I just thought I'd pick up this installment and just get a little Christmas shopaholic spirit going. But that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, let me know by leaving a like down below, and if you want to keep up with me and all of my bookish adventures, you can go ahead and click the subscribe button, and you should definitely ring the little bell so that you don't miss a beat more of Vlogmas. There's only a few days left, and you should definitely ring it so that you see my videos when they start getting uploaded in the new year. I can't believe it is almost already January. That's insane. I will see you guys tomorrow with a new video. Bye!